Hey, what's up? It's Joe with Divine Daily, and so I was talking the other day. I made this little video about the Comet Atlas, and was just curious of what people thought about, the meaning of Atlas and what it's bringing into our solar system and disruptions, and as it's crossing Mars and heading toward the sun. And last night I had this incredibly crazy dream about Atlas, the comet, and it was very just full of symbolism, and a very just strange and weird dream. And I'm still trying to decrypt this dream. So basically, in this dream I had, it was Atlas is transiting through our solar system and heading toward the sun. And with Atlas was bringing in all this disruption and all this disharmony and all this chaos into our reality. And as Atlas circles around the sun and comes back and begins to exit the other way, the way that it came, in my dream, there was this flip, this reversal. All of a sudden, all that is gone away with, and there's this revelation on humanity, and it really almost triggers this awakening, this mass awakening in people. And it was, to me, there was this, the book of Revelation was in my dream, and all the secrets in the book of Revelation were made known, and nothing was no longer kept secret. And all this knowledge and all this wisdom and all this stuff that's been locked up for the ages was all of a sudden made known to all of humanity as Atlas, once it circled around the sun and began to exit and go back the other way. And so I was a little curious about this dream I had, and I started really thinking about it, and I had to go back to mythology to really see if there was any meaning in there, because I do remember some stuff about Atlas. And so I started doing a little digging, and what I find is Atlas really is a word that means burden or great burden. And so here's this comet coming into our solar system at this time, and it's supposed to be, or could potentially be, bright enough to see during the daytime as it approaches the sun, certainly at night. And it's an unusual comet. Its behavior is unusual. Its tail is unusual. Its size is much bigger than what was previously known. Its brightness is many times bigger than what was previously thought to be. And so there's a lot of eyes on this comet in the astronomy community, but there's really nobody talking about it in the astrology community. And so basically Atlas means burden. That's the word, essentially means burden. And Atlas was I believe a Greek god that was condemned by Hercules, if I'm not mistaken, to hold up the sky in the west, or hold up the heavens in the west, for trying to steal some golden apples or something like that. So anyway, in my dream, I remember something in my dream about the age of Aquarius, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting, because if we're exiting the age of Aquarius, that means we're in the age of Pisces. And the age of Pisces is a really weird kind of orthodox religious type symbolism in that, and it's all about religion and faith and theological belief systems and all this stuff. And it's kind of ironic that Pisces sign is the fish, and the sign of Christianity quite often, other than the cross, is the fish. And so in my dream, this comet really was passing through to bring all this chaos and disruption, and with it, as it exits out the other way, it reveals all this hidden knowledge, and thus opening the book of Revelation to understanding all its secrets and all its mysteries, and thereby officially opening up like the age of Aquarius. So I thought this was just a crazy, bizarre dream that I had. And I thought, well, this is just no coincidence to me that this very strange comet is coming through at this time. And I'm not saying that it's literally causing this disruption, but it's the timing of it with its name, Atlas, burden, coming through, and the entire collective of humanity is under a tremendous burden. And this burden is, affects so many people in so many ways with this illness, this pandemic, and then the financial consequences as a result of it. And the world will be forever changed, and the world will never be the same. I know we've had pandemics in the past, but this is different. We are so globally connected. In an instant, we can communicate to the other side of the world. News can spread. Things can go very fast in this time, and travel is very fast and very. It just, things happen so quickly. You can get from one side of the globe to the other in a relative decent amount of time with our ability to travel like we do. And so this pandemic is so different, and here is Atlas, this comet that is supposed to be incredibly bright. It's like this shining beacon of light, and with its light, first it's doing away with so many things that are negative. In order to do that, there has to be this disruption. There has to be this falling away of the old way of doing things. And part of that is the way we treat our planet and the way we treat others around us, the way our belief systems are discriminatory and hurtful towards others, the way that certain religious beliefs and theologies are persecuting other people. And so it's like we're exiting this Piscean age and really transiting into the age of Aquarius. And I know there's a lot of debate about when the age of Aquarius begins. Was it 2012? Is it still yet to come? Are we 150 years out from it? I don't think it really matters, because I don't think there's any line that says you stepped over this point and now thus it begins. I think it is a transition. I think that there is a transition of time to move into a certain time period. It's not like the Bronze Age happened all at once. The Industrial Age didn't just happen overnight. It was a progression. So to me, this dream represented this progression from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, and that transition, first with it has to come all this disruption. And then once all this disruption comes through and Atlas circles around, the burden is leaving. The great burden on humanity, mankind, is leaving, and all this hidden knowledge and these revelations and these secrets and all these things that just have been so very mysterious are then revealed to humanity, and it causes this great mass awakening. So that was my dream. It was really crazy, man. I'm telling you, it was just so bizarre. And I don't know if it's just because I was looking at my interest in this comet, because I do, as much as I love astrology, I love astronomy, and so I'm interested in these things. And I don't know if it's just my research on the comet just triggered this subconscious kind of dream that was triggered by that, but it combined with world events. So that was this really crazy dream that I had about Atlas. And so I don't know, am I crazy? Am I crazy for having a crazy dream like that? Is there any meaning to any of this? Maybe not. Is there a chance that there's some meaning to this? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. What I do believe is that humanity is in a big transition right now, and with all changes, things can be very painful. And so I don't know. I think it was really wild. So if you have any thoughts, if you just think there's any input, and does this make sense? Does this have you thought about this, about with what's going on right now? What do you believe? What do you think? What do you feel? What is your gut telling you? What is your intuition telling you right now? So if you have any input, I would love to hear it. This is, kind of the things I think about. I'm sitting here taking a break at work. We're on a lockdown in our state, but I work at a hospital, and so I'm limiting my presence there. But when I'm needed, I absolutely needed, I go in, and so this is kind of me taking a break, really pondering and really deeply thinking about life and the world and everything around us at this time. So be safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourself. Thanks.